My greetings to everyone. You know, when you look at Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 11, Bible forbade his people not to have anything to do with idolatry worship. Now, when you look at Africa as a continent, you notice that we are last in everything. Even though we have gold, we have silver, we have uranium, we have rare earth minerals, we have crude oil, we have good atmosphere. Have you sat down to ask yourself, how come nothing works in Africa? Democracy came to Africa and died a natural death. Education came to Africa, it becomes something else. Everything about Africa is all about negative news. Some people try to blame our colonial masters. Some people try to blame the missionaries. Some people try to blame all sorts of things as our problems. Remember that we have been in existence for thousands of years. How come things hardly work in Africa? Let's trace back to our root. What is the root that we have forgotten? We forgot the supreme God, the creator of the whole universe. We forgot the root that made Africa who they are, the man who created them. And we began to worship the gods of Babylonians, the gods of Amalekites, the gods of Afghanistans, the gods of Palestines, the gods of Moabites. We joined them to become polytheistics, worshiping gods on the tree, the one under the water, sacrificing to demons, those fallen angels that fall from heaven, that was pushed away by the angel Michael. Africans chose those nonsense and rejected their God. Of course, we became like prodigal son. Remember, Europeans used to be known as prodigal son of God until the time of Emperor Constantine. And they called Europeans and said, no, we can't continue in this trend. We have to accept Christ as our personal Lord and Savior. In the year 313 CE, he legalized Christianity in Europe. The Europeans accepted Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. The same thing extended to Americans. And those countries began to thrive and began to survive. When you look at all the major inventions on earth, 98% of them, 98%, is either it came from a Christian nation or it came from an individual that is a Christian. Oh, I'm talking of 98% of them. When you talk of this communication, the phone we are talking of, even piano, keyboard, you talk of all the medicines, penicillin, you talk of the best universities on earth, about 10 universities on earth, 8 of the best 10 on earth came from Christian nations. Even the football that some of us enjoy today, it was the church that invented football. Basketball. Most of the major inventions that makes the world to move, all of them came from Christian nation or Christian individuals. The sense of creativity died in African mentality because they abandoned the God of creativity. They became polytheistic. Africa said they had African magic. What is African magic? Something that somebody can use to kill another person or take away someone's wife. Now, my annoyance in the whole incident is that this day, some people are asking that we should go back to the gods of our ancestors. I'm talking of the gods that our ancestors sacrificed their brothers and sisters. Those gods, they sacrificed blood to. That's what some people are asking us to go back now. The gods that when a woman gave birth to twins, they will kill the two children, calling them all sorts of names, that they are witch, they are wizard. That's the gods that some people are asking us that we should go back to. The greatest attack that happened to Africa is this issue of going back to idolatry worship. For over 2,000 years that we have been existing, what have we gained from the worship of idols? You are blaming the Europeans that brought Christianity and the Industrial Revolution to us. What did we gain before the Europeans came? The time that Europeans were able to build ship, ferry through sea to come to Africa, Africans couldn't produce spoon. They couldn't produce spoon. They couldn't produce wheelbarrow. They couldn't produce bicycle. Whereas Europeans had already produced something like ship. Few people will come and conquer millions of people. Have you not asked yourself the question? That means their God was greater and powerful and mightier than your God. Africans miss track. And this is time for us to come back. Anyone who is asking you to go back to familiar spirit, let me tell you dangerous part of familiar spirit. What kept Africa in bondage is those familiar spirits. You can notice that some people, even in America, an African man in America, sometimes when you had a dream, you saw yourself going back to the village. Before you know it, the business you've planned to do, everything will just collapse. Some people will see themselves where masquerade will be pursuing them in their dreams. Some pregnant, I've seen a pregnant woman, she was pregnant. Anytime she sees that masquerade, she will have miscarriage and lose the child. Anytime something like that happens. I know some people, once they see masquerade pursuing them, why? Masquerade may not be bad, but Africans attach everything to the gods they worship. Before that masquerade comes out, they will first of all go to their shrine, dedicate to whatever, invoke the spirit of the dead, calling their ancestors. What did that gods did for your ancestors when they were still alive? Invoking spirit of the dead people to come and protect them. People who couldn't protect themselves. Now, some people are asking that we should go back to those gods. God forbid. My prayer for you today is that you will follow that light, which is Jesus. According to John chapter 9, verse 5. Say, Christ is the light of the world. There is no light anywhere on earth without the hands of Christians. Talk of invention of aeroplane, motor, anything you can mention on earth, 98% of major inventions is either from Christian nation or from a Christian. If not for John D. Rockefeller that began to do a refining of crude oil for man to consume, even desert, Dubai and all those areas will be desert. Because John D. Rockefeller was the owner of Chevron Oil. He was the owner of Standard Oil. He was the owner of ExxonMobil. He was the owner of Mobil Oil. He's still the owner even till date, even though he's late. Christ is the light of the world. And I urge you that Christ is whom you ought to worship. Give him your life today, and your life will have a standard meaning. God bless you.